$10 spent on different retail items. The 4 projects the money would go toward include improving housing, street reconstruction, flood prevention, and a local sports complex.
When we look at funding mechanisms, funding tools that we can have, the sales tax is an excellent one because it draws on non-residents. It's estimated that about 43% of the revenue generated from this would come from non-residents.
This data, according to the Chamber President, comes from a University of Minnesota study. Since this is a sales tax, it would not increase residents' taxes, but rather only tax purchases. Councilman Sean Palmer is one who's advocating for the referendum's passage.
As a community, and that's what we do as a community, is that you bond together and you come up with what you need. And, you know, not everybody's going to say, oh, I don't drive on the road. Well, that's not really realistic.
Residents can start voting by mail later this month. If you want to vote in person, Election Day, of course, is November 7th.
You may want to keep an eye out for suspicious emails as a new scam has emerged. This after a Rochester resident recently almost fell victim. Ross Torgerson says he got an email saying he paid for a Norton Life subscription. Torgerson called the number on the email and spoke with someone who attempted to have him enter his personal information to fix the issue. However, he quickly grew suspicious of the caller and did not share his data.
And he popped up a screen that said Social Security number, and at that second I remember all the PSAs for us seniors to say the minute somebody asks, don't give them your Social Security. And I said, this is a scam.
Torgerson says he did get locked out of his computer after not entering his personal information, so he brought it to Best Buy to get fixed, and there he learned that this is the second instance of this scam that workers had seen that day. Thankfully, he avoided losing any of his money or his identity, and he's now encouraging others to be cautious about this kind of scam. Well, the community of Blooming Prairie is coming together to help raise money for the fight against cancer.
Starting tonight, Blooming Prairie Cancer Group will host the 22nd annual auction. In 2001, the original founder was inspired to create a group in her community after she saw the impacts of the Eagles Cancer Telethon, an event that we've helped put on at KTTC for nearly 70 years. The first year, the Blooming Prairie group raised about $1,700. Today, more than 20 years later, they've raised more than $1 million. This weekend is their biggest fundraiser of the year. So the auction starts tonight at 7 under the big tent outside of the Q Company. It starts back up tomorrow at 4:30 in the afternoon with family bingo and then an auction at 7 as well. There's going to be raffle tickets and t-shirts you can buy. In addition to raising money for the telethon and the Hormel Institute, they've created a community fund. This is money going directly to people in the Blooming Prairie area who are battling cancer.
We help with gas cards, driving to and from appointments. We help with parking passes. We have helped before build a wheelchair ramp for a lady who needed a wheelchair. You know, just anything we can to help that insurance won't help.
Some big helps. This is the field of flags for this year's Paint the Town Pink along Highway 218. Last month, the volleyball and football teams came by to help put up those flags. It looks amazing. Each flag is flown in honor of someone who's had this disease. So definitely a big event this weekend. Ted's been telling us the weather for tonight and tomorrow is looking good for these events. But Ted, there is some fog out there this morning.
There is. It's really fun to see it developing around me here on the weather patio. It's a very fine, almost mist that has developed. It's a very thin layer of fog. I can see, you know, a couple miles around me, but you can see where it is slowly thickening here. And as we look outside from just overhead, this is about 85 feet off the ground looking to the south and west across Highway 52. At ground level, it's pretty clear, but you can see that very low layer of cloud has begun to develop. That's stratus cloud cover, and then on the ground see some patches of fog beginning to develop. All this just happened in the past half hour or so. And that's a live look outside with our Lewiston Auto camera. 52 right now. It's a calm wind, in other words, no wind. Dew point 49 here at the studio, but at the airport it's 49. temperature-wise anyway. 46 in Dodge Center, 51 in Mason City. And current visibility levels at the airport officially it's still 10 miles, but I can see where there is some fog developing in the surrounding areas, though. And Red Wing does have visibility officially of 3/4 of a mile. I'll give you an idea of what can happen in some of these areas. Visibility will quickly drop to maybe less than a mile briefly, and then it should improve between 7:30 and 8 o'clock or so this morning, so another hour or so. But that's shower activity that has been on the map. It's out of our picture now. Now skies are clearing off. We have some of that fog developing in a few spots. So dog walking forecast here in Rochester is Harry. Here, look at the Harry there, peeking around there, looking at the camera there, and it looks like a great day for a dog walk. We start off with some fog in a couple of spots, a few passing clouds. 40s then in the afternoon, 74, a light breeze, tons of afternoon sunshine. Beautiful looking day all around. Just be on the lookout for that fog for the next hour or two. Bus stop forecast 47 on the way to school. But suffice to say, you'll need the jacket. It's definitely a chilly morning. 74 on the way home. Beautiful sunshine. You just carry the jacket home because you certainly won't need it by then. Allergy report, moderate for pretty much everything, but low for grasses today. And the outlook for today, some patches of fog, then a lot of sun. 74 this afternoon. Next couple of days do feature some sun, but also some rain chances. Some of those, especially tomorrow evening and tomorrow night and parts of Sunday. So we get a little bit of everything this weekend, but today looking overall like a great Friday.
Yeah, Ted, a little bit of fog maybe during that morning commute, but brighter skies in our future.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ted. This month, the Minnesota Department of Public Safety is busy paving the way as 81,000 new residents are eligible to get a driver's license for the first time.
A DFL-led push for the legislation passed through the governor's desk this past spring. Now, in just a few short weeks, the state will put those new regulations into law. The Minnesota Department of Vehicle Services unveiled their plans Thursday to implement the new licenses. The process, if it goes as planned, should run seamlessly.
DVS will not be submitting any names, any information, personal information to any immigration law enforcement for deportation.
Standard license rules still apply, meaning residents who get an appointment on October 1st will still need to complete a minimum of 3 months with a permit before taking the final test.
Happening today, U.S. Secretary of Education Miguel Cardona will be in Southeast Minnesota wrapping up the 2023 back-to-school bus tour, Raise the Bar. The week-long multi-state road trip has been showcasing the many ways schools, families, and communities are doubling down on accelerating student learning and raising the bar in education. First, he'll be at John Marshall High School in Rochester this morning for a tour of the school and a roundtable discussion highlighting the importance of mental health in schools. Senator Tina Smith will be there for that. After, he will head to Rosemount and St. Paul for other messages regarding student success in the state.
Today, Governor Tim Walz will ask Minnesotans to honor late former Governor Al Quie. His son says he died of natural causes at his home on August 18th at the age of 99. Walz has ordered flags at all state buildings to fly at half-staff today through sunset tomorrow in his memory. Former Governor Quie will also lie in state from noon until 3 this afternoon at the state capitol. Quie was known for working across the aisle, both as governor and a congressman. He represented Southeast Minnesota's 1st District in the U.S. House from 1958 to 1979 and ran for governor in 1978, which he won.
The 3rd annual Downtown River Cleanup is happening today in Rochester. The Clean and Safe Ambassador Team, Rochester Downtown Alliance staff, and volunteers from Bolander will be removing debris and graffiti. Last summer during the event, the group collected 11 bags worth of litter, 3 pieces of rebar, countless plastic grocery bags, and a large debris-like construction cone and storm drain grate. Cleanup of the downtown portion of the Zumbro gets underway at 9 this morning.
Tomorrow, you can spend some time enjoying the great outdoors with the latest Free State Parks Day. The Minnesota DNR will once again be waiving vehicle permit fees at all 75 state parks. The goal is to encourage families to spend time together exploring all the natural resources Minnesota has to offer and recharge from the stresses of everyday life. The DNR says most Minnesotans live within 30 miles of one of these recreation areas. The final fee-free day for this year is going to be on Friday, November 24th. Some good days to maybe have on your calendar.
The NFL now has a new highest paid player. Cincinnati Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow has agreed to a 5-year, $275 million contract extension, according to a person familiar with the deal. It'll pay Burrow an average of $55 million a year. Burrow has led the Bengals to 2 straight AFC North titles and a Super Bowl after the 2021 season. Cincinnati finished 12-4 last year, with Burrow setting a franchise single-season records for completions, pass attempts, and passing touchdowns. He will start against the Cleveland Browns on Sunday. And the NFL season is officially underway, and Week 1's game for the Vikings is coming up on Sunday.
The team hosts the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at US Bank Stadium in Minneapolis. Last year, the offense really shined, but coming into 2023, there's going to be some different weapons out on the field, on the outside. Longtime player Adam Thielen is gone. Rookie Jordan Addison is in. Minnesota took Addison with the 23rd overall pick in the NFL draft. Quarterback Kirk Cousins is going to be looking to get the year started off right on Sunday. Kickoff is set for noon. The Vikings are 5.5-point favorites. So we're going to get out all of our purple gear and get ready for some football.
Absolutely.
Sunday.
Maybe make some football food, some hot dogs. It's that to me or Jess?
All the good things. It is 6:40. Mabel is the place to be this weekend.
The annual Steam Engine Days are taking over the small southeast Minnesota town. We'll take you there for a preview of all the fun. But first, here's Ted back with your forecast.
Sunshine today, but we also have a little bit of fog going on. That's developing as we speak. We'll have the latest on that and look ahead at some mild weather, but also rain chances that impact parts of our weekend. The latest your forecast is coming up after the break, so stick around.
Meet our pup.
It is the biggest event of the year in Mabel. Last year it did get rained out, but this year the Hesper Mabel Steam Engine Show is looking forward to hopefully some great weather. The tractors and antique engines are all in place, and our Cammie Raisler is ready.
It is steamy in Mabel. Hesper Mabel Steam Engine Days are underway. The fun began yesterday, and there's still a lot to come today into Sunday. We have Steve Harmon here right beside his steam engine. How are you?
Good, thank you.
It's great to see you.
I'm excited for Steam Engine Days this weekend.
Yes, so you live in Rochester, but you're kind of from this area.
That's right,
Okay.
from Mabel.
And this is your baby here, your steam engine. It's kind of a hobby of yours to make this run.
That's right, to preserve it and keep it going and play with it one weekend out of the year.
So Friday, today, what can we expect today? I know there's 2 big parades coming up Saturday and Sunday, but what about today?
All right, today there's not any official activities, but we'll be doing some thrashing in the field over here.
Ooh, okay.
Most of this afternoon, and then getting ready for tomorrow and Sunday.
So do we have tractors pulling the thrashing machines, or do we have steam engines?
Steam engines.
Okay, so that will be exciting. Learn a little bit of the history of harvesting.
Harvesting, yes, that's right. Thrashing oats, where we're removing the grain from the stalks and the chaff.
Okay, so the old version of combining, sort of?
That's right, that's right.
Okay.
Part of combining.
Okay, so they can check you out, though, in the parade on Saturday and Sunday?
That's right. Saturday and Sunday we'll be here and doing activities all afternoon each day.
Okay, and we can't forget, we have a very, very special, I don't know, do I call it a piece of equipment, a musical instrument, a calliope.
We can call it a musical instrument.
Okay.
And I'd like to hear someone play it.
Okay, I mean, I can try. How many keys are on there? There's like
32.
32 keys, so it's not a normal piano. It's a calliope. So I'll play a little tune as we send it back to the studio, but this runs off steam as well.
That's right, and I'd like to tell you that tomorrow, Saturday at 10:30, there's going to be 2 expert calliopists here.
Good.
A rare combination of 2 people coming together at once.
That's
so
impressive.
At 10:30 to 11:30, we're having a special calliope concert tomorrow.
Okay, looking forward to that because you want to hear a real musician play, not me. I can play Mary Had a Little Lamb, so I'll play us out here.
I think Cammie did pretty great there. There is live music every night. Yes, Ted's giving her a round of applause at the Lions Beer Garden. You can also enjoy the Corey Farley Band. He's from Decorah and has gained recognition on tour with Alan Jackson. A lot of fun.
Here's your first alert weather with meteorologist Ted Schmidt.
We had clear skies just about an hour ago. Now we've begun to see some stratus clouds develop, and in some cases, a little bit of fog is developing. We've been talking about that all morning. Nothing new here. We're going to experience fog here as temperatures cool off a little more just before the sun has a chance to start warming the scenery, the surroundings. But in the meantime, yeah, fog is developing as the winds are light. We have that dew point temperature matching the actual air temperature, and so the air is saturated. So we have that fog and some stratus stratus clouds. Certainly that is evident from our Lewiston auto camera from Signal Hill at the studio. There's Highway 52, so that layer of clouds that's starting to obscure the view there. You see some of the clouds around Lake City and around downtown Rochester, but surrounding that, you do have fairly good visibility at ground level. So 10 miles officially, but you see some spots where the fog is beginning to encroach upon the different observation sites. So half a mile visibility in Dodge Center. Red Wing has seen vast improvement. It was only 3/4 of a mile about 10 minutes ago. It's up to 10 miles, so that little patch of fog has moved on. There were some showers. They have also moved on. Skies are really clearing, and looking at some fog at first this morning, some stratus clouds, but by and large, a sun-filled day is ahead of us. We had very little sun in the area yesterday, none in Rochester. We had temperatures in the low 60s all day. 62 was the high. Once the skies cleared off last evening, temperatures took a nosedive, going from the 50s now to the 40s. 49 at the airport in Rochester. To the west, even cooler. Dodge Center 45 this hour. It's 46 in Forest City, Iowa, and 45 in Owatonna. 55 in Decorah. Again, here in the Med City, a light breeze. It feels like 47, 49 the actual temperature. And yes, there is some sunshine over that layer of stratus clouds and fog. Skies are clear overhead, and we are going to enjoy a sun-filled day. The fog will lift next hour and a half or so. And then it looks like a terrific day in store. A very mild situation under high pressure. There's a cold front we're tracking for the northwest. That will bring rain chances tomorrow, mainly in the evening hours. And parts of Sunday also will be impacted by shower chances. But until then, the slow warm-up is in store. Sunshine, 70s today, close to 80 tomorrow. By tomorrow evening and parts of Sunday, there are those rain chances. The only rain chances the next week to 10 days, though. Next week, sunny with seasonal temperatures. Future track today is some patches of clouds and some fog. Then we look at the mid-morning and afternoon hours. A lot of sunshine, a light north breeze. Daytime temperatures today in the mid-70s, which is very typical for this time of the year. Tomorrow, we start the day in the low 50s. We have some sun, right around 80 in the afternoon. Showers, a couple of stray thunderstorms come in during the evening time frame. 5, 6 o'clock, maybe a stray shower or two, rumble thunder or two in the overnight hours, and leftover showers into wee hours of Sunday morning. A break or two in the clouds, and then maybe a redeveloping spotty shower Sunday afternoon once again. So slightly more unsettled there. Rain chances tomorrow evening ramp up around 6 or 7 o'clock, but nothing too extremely widespread, but there'll be rain chances nonetheless. And some of those late tomorrow and parts of Sunday. That is it for rain for the next week, though. Temperatures tomorrow close to 80. Low 70s and limited sun on Sunday. For today, though, some passing clouds, then increasing sunshine, a high of 74, light north winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tonight, 52, light southeast breeze, mainly clear, and your 7-day forecast close to 80 tomorrow. The shower chances parts of Sunday, and then next week looking great, very fall-like, 60s and low 70s, and maybe some mid-70s by the following weekend. So we're not done with that kind of weather yet, but overall very comfortable fall-like conditions and beautiful weather today for anything outdoors, especially Friday night football.
Yes, and Sunday looks good for watching some football, maybe indoors if we get some rain. On that note, if you're a KTTC regular viewer, you know Fridays we make our picks. Yesterday we actually made one on a Thursday for the NFL season getting underway. The opener, you know, anything can happen with this contest. It's already off to a dramatic start with the Lions winning 21-20 over the Chiefs. Our producer Kendall was the only one of us to make that pick. So she is starting off strong. Good job, Kendall. So here's hope for the rest of us. We're just going to look on to Sunday and start again with the Dallas Cowboys heading to the Big Apple to take on the New York Giants. Darian, who do you pick?
I have got the Cowboys.
Yes.
Yes, I'm going with the Cowboys because, you know, there's not really much to my method. I just kind of look up their records last season and I look at the injury reports for the upcoming game, and I kind of make my decision that way. So let's go Cowboys.
Practical choice. I made the very same one. I went with the Cowboys this morning. How about you, Ted?
Trying to improve on what I did yesterday, and I'm going to go with Dallas Cowboys. Right now, they're looking pretty strong this year.
Stars across the board, it's looking like for all of us, even Kelsey.
Yep, she made that pick as well. All right, let's move on to Steven, our morning producer. Now, Kendall, she was the wild card yesterday who went with Detroit.
Okay, again. She's going against the grain.
She's
I'm nervous.
She's fearless, Kendall is. And our production team, all right, they're going with the Cowboys. So we'll see if Kendall is just going to keep rocking with her choices that she's making as a lone wolf.
She might be.
We'll see at 6:52. Warning from Apple about why you need to update your devices immediately.
Plus, union workers for 3 major automakers could soon walk off the job and onto the picket lines. What they're asking for and why.
KTTC weather is.
The United Auto Workers Union is threatening to go on strike next week if their demands aren't met. Right now, there's little optimism coming from the automakers, and some analysts are expecting a work stoppage. The union has a mighty list of demands, including a 40% raise over the length of a 4-year contract, the ending of a 2-tier wage system for some workers, and a 32-hour work week at full pay. General Motors has made a counteroffer that features a 10% pay hike. If the roughly 145,000 workers with GM, Ford, and Stellantis go on a 10-day strike, the U.S. economy could lose at least $5 billion, according to Anderson Economic Counseling. The current deal between the union and the big three automakers ends at midnight on September 14th. If the two sides don't come to terms by then, a strike could start the following day.
Apple users, listen up. The company is urging iPhone and iPad owners to update their operating systems immediately. Apple has issued an update that fixes a vulnerability that hackers may already be exploiting. It was discovered by the Citizen Lab at the University of Toronto. The security flaw exists in iOS 16.6.1. Experts say iPhone and iPad owners should immediately go to their settings menu on their devices, select General, and then Software Update. Tap Install Now to begin that process. It is 6:56. Let's take a look at your morning commute. That's Highway 52 from Civic Center Drive. There is some fog in parts of our viewing area this morning, so be aware of that. We'll be right back.
KTTC Traffic Cam.
It is 6:58. Our top stories this morning. A big ticket item residents will vote on this year, the referendum for Rochester's long-running sales tax. The Chamber of Commerce and city leaders are advocates of this. It's a 5-cent tax for every $10 spent on different retail items. The 4 projects getting the money would be improved housing, street reconstruction, flood prevention, and a local sports complex.
The 3rd annual Downtown River Cleanup is happening today in Rochester. The Clean and Safe Ambassador Team, Rochester Downtown Alliance staff, and volunteers from Bolander will be removing debris and graffiti. Cleanup of the downtown portion of the Zumbro gets underway at 9 this morning.
U.S. Secretary of Education Miguel Cardona is going to be in southeast Minnesota today, wrapping up his back-to-school bus tour, Raise the Bar. He's going to be at John Marshall High School this morning for a tour and roundtable discussion, highlighting the importance of mental health in local schools. And Senator Tina Smith will be there too. Darian's actually going to stop by this event, and we'll have more on the story right here at noon. Ted, there is fog out there this morning.
A little bit of fog, yeah, visibility so far has dropped off a little bit, so we keep that in mind this morning. Rochester, right now, the visibility at the studio, a little better than a mile, but keep that in mind. There may be a little bit of fog, and then we'll have increasing sunshine. 74 later today. Good looking day, great evening for Friday football in the upper 60s at that hour. Shower 2 late tomorrow and for parts of Sunday with high